Okay, hit the button, so maybe it's working. I might be live, I might not be. I'm not sure. Um, Trying a little different setup here than I did in the car, but we will see if it works. Um, Assuming I am live, welcome. I see in the chat Sketty Nona, Jeff Kane, Fish Room Fever. Oh, it's popping up more people. Okay, so it looks like uh, Jeff says I am live. Okay. Um, and then I'm guessing that you all can hear me too. This is all new to me. Um, and I wasn't sure that I was going to make it in time. Work ran late and then traffic and all that kind of stuff. But I got home maybe 10 minutes ago. Um, so I'm kind of thinking of going an hour, but we'll see, because one thing that I did pick up uh, at the convention in Michigan is a head cold. So I've got the whole sinus pressure and watering eyes and the nose that doesn't know if it wants to be stopped up or run or fall off or whatever. So we'll see how that goes. Stuck on the wait screen, but reloaded and all good now. Good to hear. Like like I said, this is new to me. I don't know how to do the whole streaming, StreamYard, all that kind of stuff. I figured out how to get my name down there. I, I'll figure it out as I do more of these. Um, hey, Griffin, I just saw you pop up. Jennifer Hayes. Um, so I've tried a couple streams like in the car, just as I was driving, and they they were okay. I guess I'm getting my feet wet. Uh, hey, Jimmy P. Um, but yeah, I thought I would try more streaming. Um, I said 2 years ago when I moved here that I was going to stream more, but you know how life goes. Um, so we'll see how it goes, and then maybe do some pop ups here and there, or maybe find a spot that works for me. But so this past weekend I went up to Michigan to the ALA AKA convention, and it was good. Um, for those of you that went to the Triple Crown, that was 4 national clubs together. This was 2, so of course it was smaller. And there was, from what I was being told there was 2 other fish events going on. I know one of them was Aquashella. So little competition for vendors and attendees and stuff at the different places. Um, they still had the auctions and a swap, and I got quite a few fish. And I'll put out a video revealing them soon. I videoed it. I'm not sure what was going on up there as far as, I'm guessing it was the water, because um, like a lot of the fish were doing fine for the first 3 days, and then water changed on the 4th day, and they started acting all funny, and the strongest of them would just like go belly up. And even in the auction, there'd be auction stuff, and the guy would say, "We have a pair of, okay, now it's just a male of this species." So they were having trouble even like in the auction. Um, yes, like I purchased um, a pair of Scipia multipunctata Gudeids, and when I got the pair, the female was already dead in the bag, and so I bought another pair. I bid on another pair. I said, out of these, I'm gonna keep bidding until I get a pair of the fish. Fishy on Tanktix, welcome. Silver Creek Aquatics, welcome. Scruffy, hey, this is a change. You're lurking and driving instead of me lurking and driving. I was actually just replaying your stream from last night as I was driving home. But yeah, there was a lot of. I'm not sure what was going on. I don't know if there was something in the water or what, but there was a lot of fish on that last auction that the pair turned into a single, or the trio turned into a pair. So that was something going on. We got Don Gooman and Beta Aquatics showing up. But there was a lot of nice fish. I did wind up somehow managing to get a pair of killifish. Don't know much about killifish, but I got talked into buying a pair of killifish. So we'll try it and see. I think they were the Fundulopanchex gardneri. I could be totally wrong, but that sounds right in my head. And just going over in my head what I did get some guppies and some swordtails and the stuff that I'm into like that. It was disappointing when I got home and saw what had made it and what hadn't made it. But I knew quite a few of the things weren't going to make the trip home because they were already struggling after that last water change. So I guess I'm going to have to start taking like a test kit with me because I haven't had that type of issue before. And I know some places like do a extra treatment of their system on certain days, or some systems have more ammonia in it. I think whenever they went to New Jersey for the what was that, aquatic experience, that there was a lot of ammonia in their water. Did I get to the part of the stream about the hybrid swordtails not being hybrids? I did. I'm no expert on swordtails. But you probably won't like the answer. If I was to put money on it, or if I was to take those fish, not knowing anything that you've, pretending that I haven't heard anything that you've said you were told about them or anything, and take them like to the people at the ALA and ask them what they thought of them, or if I was to bet what they were, I would say all of them are hybrids, and I would say all of them, the majority of the genetics in them are Hilleri. Now, whether it's pineapple or a wag or whatever like that, I'm not really into the domestic, what the strains are called, and it has to have this much orange to be this and this much red to be that. But if it's a pineapple, it's going to be a hybrid. And from the look of all the swordtails that I saw in the video, they look, to me, and I'm no expert, they look all like they're hybridized from Hilleri. Yeah, taking my own water, that's what I'm thinking. I did get water for that for bagging them up, and I used that. But I think at that point, they were pretty bad stressed, and some of them weren't were too far gone. Like the Tanganyikan cichlids that I bought in the auction, the runner told me, said, you need to get these out of this water real quick. So did I get a haircut? Absolutely not. I need a haircut, but I have not got one. I'm well past where I would normally get a haircut. I've been running so much that I've procrastinated it. I look younger. I don't know about that. That was a interesting thing of the convention. A good thing of the convention, I guess. Um, Somebody said that I looked like I was in my early 30s to late 20s. Okay, I'll take it. Now, if I could just go back and make some changes to some mistakes that I made in my late 20s, early 30s. Let's see. Picked up fish that I didn't know where to put when I got home, but I got them all put away. Bought some dry goods. Met a lot of cool people, and reacquainted with a lot of people that I had met before. People that I'd met at the Triple Crown last year, and people that I'd met at other events in years past. As far as YouTubers, I only saw like me and Mike from Fish Tank Barn was there. I didn't really notice anybody else that does YouTube was there. But I don't know everybody. I'll make a video going over all the dry goods stuff. I bought some dry goods stuff in a couple auctions, and then the goodie bags. I went into them knowing they were hybrid. I just shocked to see them on a cover of that book. I don't know why I didn't get a pick. And you might can find that copy of that book on Amazon or something a little cheaper. You know, another good place to buy books, fish books, at these ALA conventions. There's a vendor that sets up with a bunch of fish books. So we need to drag you along to one of these conventions sometime, Mitch. They did say that the next year's AKA convention is going to be in Tampa, and the ALA said in their board meeting that they're planning on trying to join the AKA in Tampa. They just have to work out a few things. So hopefully that comes together, and I'm able to go to Florida for the convention next year, because Tampa's pretty close to the beach. And we got to drive through Knoxville to get there, so, you know, maybe some Tennessee guys can go too. But yeah, it was a good time. I thought I would have extra time to run around and do things. To like go to pet stores and stuff like that throughout the day. And I don't know why I thought that, because last year I didn't have time to do anything. This year I didn't have time to do anything. And looking back on it, I missed more of the presentations than I think I went to. And that was the main reason I was going, was to go to the presentations. And I missed a number of them. But I did get to see quite a few good ones. One of them I learned a lot in. They were talking about the socialization and breeding of swordtails, and how some swordtails can, the best way I know how to describe it is like turn on polarized reflectors, so they can like color themselves up with polarized light. So we can't see polarized light. When we see polarized light, it looks like glare. That's what we see, like off of glass or off of water surface, is the polarized light coming back at us. And that's why fishermen will get polarized sunglasses. It blocks the polarized light out. But the fish can see the polarized light as color. So like the male swordtail can turn its little polarized reflectors on and flash colors at the female, and like have like a marquee on its side. And they found that it has the ability to turn that on and off, because some predators of the swordtail have learned to see polarized light also. So whenever the male's over there flashing his polarized light, the predators can swoop in and eat them. But I thought that was really neat that they can do that. And she went into a lot more stuff about your bigger swordtails will develop later and be better breeders, and the bigger males, and then you'll have your smaller males which will carry genetics for smaller males, and they'll rush in and breed quickly. And the bigger males will be more of a more gentle breeder and will court the female, where the smaller males will be more aggressive and force themselves on the female more. Hey, I'm definitely up for all of us going down to Tampa to the convention next year. In Florida they're going to have collecting, and I know there's some people that like to get in Florida waters, up to their chest and catch fish and let them pour back out as they're catching them. So it sounds fun to me. And the next couple, well, every year that they talked about, they've got some fun stuff, it sounds like, for the next few years, and hopefully I get to all of them. But it depends on the scheduling of work and family and all that other stuff too. Let's see. So I've got a video that'll come out. Unless I already put it out. I don't think I already put it out. About how I kept my little fish room in the hotel. If I haven't put it out, I'm going to soon. And then the video about the fish that came home with me. And then I'm going to make a video on the dry goods. I didn't pick up as many dry goods as I was wanting to, partially because, you only have so much money. And some of the fish that I wanted went for a whole lot more than I was expecting. But I think part of the problem there is the people that were at this event, they know what the stuff is too. Like I might go to a club auction and me and one other guy knows what this Gadiad is or this rare type of swordtail or something. But when I go to the ALA, everybody knows what this swordtail is or this rare live bear or something. So they bid a little more, but it's fun. There was a little drama, but oh well, it came, it went. Went back to work and people was asking, "Did you get rested on your vacation?" Yeah, right. If anybody's been to this type of thing, you stay up till like 3 o'clock in the morning talking fish. Then, if you're lucky, you go to bed and you wake up at 6 or 7 for the events that start the next morning. Yeah, I got less sleep at going to this thing than I do on a regular day, and that's not much. Let's see. So it was a fun time. And the swap was really, really busy. They made improvements this year from last year. They took what people had complaints or concerns about, suggestions, I guess, about last year, and they tried to make it better for this year. So, like last year, having the multiple groups at the same time, you had different websites to go to register. You had speakers that were overlapping. You had 2 auctions going on at the same time. They didn't do any of that this time. They had one website to go to register. The speakers were staggered so that you could make it to all of them, unless you're like me and you get busy talking and forget, lose track of time, and you miss the speaker that you wanted to hear. And the auctions, the way they did like the AKA and ALA auction on Sunday, is they would put a live bear up for auction, and then a killifish would go for auction, and then a live bear, and it was all in one room, and you just paid one bill at the end, and it worked really good. If I'm bidding, it's worth bidding on. Not always. I've bid on a few things that I get home and I'm like, why did I buy that? Some of the stuff was going for really high, and then some of the stuff, they were practically giving it away. I mean, they had bags. I don't remember if it's pairs or trios or what it was, of the Zenatoka Doadri going for $3 or $5. And if I didn't, I did buy some, but if I didn't have a tank full of them already, I would have bought all of them at that price, because for me, on a Doadri, $5 a fish is a good price. And they were doing like a bag of them for $5 or $3. And that's how I wound up with some of my guppies that I got, because they were just going for a really good deal. And that's the thing with these auctions, is at the beginning of the auction, this pair of guppies may go for $70. But towards the end of the auction, people had to leave to catch their flight. They've ran out of money. They've got tired and got up to go somewhere, and you get the fish at a lot cheaper, unless somebody's got their eye on this specific fish and they know it's not come up yet and they're waiting on that one. Hey, Skipper, welcome. There was some fish that I had on my wish list when I went up there, that if I saw them, I was going to get them. And I've bought them before, and I paid, I think, $15 to $20 for a pair or a trio. And these specific fish I actually bought last year before I went to the Triple Crown, and I lost the whole colony. The tank crashed while I was at the Triple Crown. So I thought it'd be cool to get them again this year at the convention. Well, instead of getting them for $15 to $20 for the pair or trio, they were going for like $70 to $75 for a pair. So no, I didn't get those, and it's probably a good thing with the trouble I had Sunday evening with whatever went on. I got some half beaks, and one of them survived making it to the final bagging, but I didn't think it would make it on the way home, and it didn't. So half beaks are still on my wish list. I'll find them somewhere. I just think they're neat. That, and who was it on the live stream on the way up? It might have been Coral Works. We started talking about the pike live bearer, and so I actually saw one of those there. There was one in the show, and so now I'm interested in looking at those. Welcome, Paul McCarthy. I'm just kind of rambling on about the ALA AKA convention. Yeah, I was really dense, I guess, whenever I saw it pop up and say 2 in the zoo. My brain did not figure out that the zoo was Kalamazoo. I'm like, what are they, like, holding the show in like a zoo? I don't get it. It was probably like a week before the convention that I figured out what the zoo was. But we went to some neat pet stores while we were up there. I wish they were closer down this way. There, one of them that we went to had a lot of the rare live bears that I was interested in, and then one of them that we went to had it was huge. It had like waterfall out front, and like a river running through the store that had koi in it. There's like a bus and I think an airplane in there. I mean, that's not the type of stuff you expect to see in a pet store, but it was neat to have, the different stuff in there, kind of like a theme, an attraction type thing. And it was a good time. Trying to remember everything that went on. There was like so much stuff. I did manage to somehow get talked into joining the AKA. I don't know how that worked out, talking about fish clubs and this and that, and next thing I know, I'm signing up for the AKA. So now I'm part of the AKA and the ALA. I guess it was only appropriate since they had the joint convention together. I didn't notice like all the fish that won the show. I went through and tried to capture some quick video of it, but I haven't reviewed it yet. I just know there was a ton of awesome fish there um, in the show, and they had a photography uh, category or class or whatever you want to call it in the show. Um, and I think there was 100 between the two. There was 150 to 200 entries in all the classes. So they one day I may enter something in a fish show, but it'll be a while. I got to get this whole thing down of traveling the distance and being able to stay up all night and get going the next morning. Um, it was a good time. I don't know. Uh, Another speaker that I saw was talking about like the regulations for having fish and how they're trying to change stuff with the Lacey Act that came up last year and the Florida Wildlife Commission trying to put a white list in Florida and the changes they've made to importing and all that kind of stuff. I went into it not thinking that I would like it because it was a lot of legal type stuff of permits and all this kind of stuff. But the speaker made it on a level that was really easy to understand, easy to follow. And something that I pulled from it that I was surprised by that I got was at the recent thing in Florida where they were trying to make the white list and they had the committee or whatever that was going to be voting on it, and they had the meeting and people showed up to speak out against it. He showed a picture of all of the like reptile hobbyists that showed up, and he showed a picture of all the fish hobbyists that showed up, and you could definitely tell a difference. The reptile people were there. He was saying they came from neighboring states and all over to defend their hobby, because if Florida had put this through, it was going to shut down animals coming out of Florida, basically. And the fish side, you basically had the fish farms, a couple distributors, and members of one fish club show up. It was a whole lot less than what the reptile people had showed up. And I've noticed that as I talk to people about that type of stuff, a lot of people says, "Well, I don't know what's going on, and it won't matter, or it won't go through, or nothing I can do." And well, whatever happens, happens. And it's kind of worrying that they could just say, like they recently did in Spain, you can't have any fish. You got 90 days to get rid of them. Let's see. Another speaker talked about going to like the Caribbean area, and I may be mixing speakers up, but going to the Caribbean area and catching pupfish and live bears, and it was neat to see, the different stuff that they had, that he was catching and stuff. I didn't make it for the they had a native collecting, but I didn't make it for that. I would like to go native collecting in some of these trips, but I guess I just had to stick to the local native collecting for now. Got one of those coming up. Not this weekend, but next with the Lexington Club and the Knoxville Club kind of meeting in the middle to do some native collecting, and it'll be neat to see the people from the Lexington Club and people from the Knoxville Club meeting and talking fish. I get to go to both clubs and talk to both sides, but now they get to talk to each other. So that's gonna be neat. I look forward to that. So I think the next convention type thing that I'll be going to will be the Keystone Clash, and that's in September. There may be one pop up between now and then that I go to, but it'll have to be on the right weekend, at the right time, and close enough that, like, I probably want to take off work for it. But I've got the Keystone Clash in September and the OCA Extravaganza in November. And I've not been to either one of those before, but they sound like they're going to be a good time. And I'm going to take stuff that I've learned from this and move forward and try to adapt that for those conventions too. Like, I went to this one saying I'm not going to buy fish, so I just took 2 containers to make tanks out of, and then I found a Walmart and bought more containers and bought more fish. So yeah, the next time I might take, like was mentioned before, take my own water just in case. Take a test kit just so they can see, is it coming out of the tap with high ammonia or nitrates or something. And it's odd that some of the fish that I got, I left in the bag for the whole weekend, and they did fine. So whatever water they were bagged in, and they were bagged good, they did fine. But and when I put the fish in the tubs, they did fine until Sunday, and I water changed every day. And then Sunday, after the water change, came back about 10 minutes later, and they were all acting kind of goofy if they were still upright. The lanyards, the little name tags, were a little challenging this time around. They were the type that had the string that comes around both sides and goes through the little holes. And I saw so many people that did not figure out how to get those to work. They had them like tied in a knot and tied on a knot on their side, or tied in a knot around the badge. And I took the lanyard from the Fish Fam Link card, and I hooked that card and the convention name badge all on the same thing and wore it around like that. And it was more comfortable. It did flip around backwards some where it was hooked in the center, and you probably didn't get that problem with the ones that they gave you that came down both sides, but it was a lot more comfortable. Welcome, Craig's Catfish Cave. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say about the event. If y'all had questions, I can, try my best to answer them. And they had a banquet to give out the awards and stuff. I guess that was Saturday evening, and it was pretty good. I liked it better than the one last year, and something that appealed to me was it was a buffet style. So I just go through and pick out what I like, what I want. Whereas last year you had to like pre-order, and they'd bring you the stuff, and you get fancy. I don't remember what was on it, maybe asparagus and potatoes and stuff. And so you get what they bring you. And I guess that's okay for some people, but I don't know. Maybe I'm picky. let's see. I think the organizers, I think they did a good job at it. They had two clubs that were hosting the, let's see, Michigania. I know I'm pronouncing that wrong. Aquarium Society and the Southwest Michigan Aquarium Society. They did good at hosting, and then the two national organizations, like I was saying, did good of taking the suggestions from last year and bringing those in, and then they took suggestions that they got this year of what issues they had, and they were already talking about how they can make it better for next time. And at least they're going to try at least the next year to be a joint AKA ALA convention, and possibly the next two times, from what I'm being told, to have joint conventions. And I think I think the joint convention idea is good. I think it benefits everybody. If you're a sponsor, like a big vendor, like a Cobalt or a Zoo Med or something like that, you don't have to worry about splitting up your donations to send some to the AKA and some to the ALA and some here and some there, that you can send something bigger, better to the one. And like your budget for the year that you get to go travel to set up at these things, it's cheaper to go to set up at one than it is to go set up at 3 or 4. And by them being able to give more to the conventions because they're together, then your donations to the clubs would be better. Your items in the goodie bags, you'd have more and better stuff in that. And you would get more people to turn out, because now we don't have to pick if we're going to this convention, that convention, or that convention, because they're together. You go to the one and you hit them all. And then it's good for the national conventions that you get library people like me talked into signing up for the Killifish Club. And who knows, I may be a killifish person next year and have shoe boxes of fish all around. I will see how these first ones go, and I may try to breed them and see what how that goes. They're not going to breed as good as the live bears, I'm sure, but it's a try. But yeah, I got the gardener eyes, and then got some grindle worms, and that may be what transitioned into getting me signed up. Was I was talking about how right before I went to the convention that I found my tub of grindle worms that I had forgot that I had. I had a thing of grindle worms, and I had them under one of my racks, and I completely forgot that I had them. So I hadn't been feeding them or checking on them or anything with them. And I found them, and they didn't survive. It wasn't a pretty sight. And so I picked up, when I joined the AKA, I picked up a little starter culture of grindle worms, and I'm keeping these where that I will remember that I have them, so that I can feed them and keep them alive. Because they don't do any good for my fish if I don't keep the live foods alive. I talked to people that I'd met last year. We last year they did a lot of room sales, and we went into one room. Me and James from Fisher and Fever went into a room, and it was a little weird at first, because the guy that's selling the fish goes, "Come here, I'll show you stuff. I got some good stuff." And he goes to the bed and like pulls back the sheets. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, step back out of the way, let James go first, because this guy's going to show us something in his bed. We'll see what. Yeah, I'm going to stay back here out of the way. But he was keeping his fish in the bed to keep him warm. Not in the bed that he slept in, apparently, but the spare bed. And I didn't see the room sales this year, and from what I was told, the hotel kicked back on that really hard, and along with other things that they kicked back on that they had promised that they would do or allow. And but that guy that we got the fish out of his bed, he was there and had some more good stuff, and I got to talk to him for a while, and he was telling me some tricks on breeding certain things and keeping things and how he gets better yields, better spawns out of his least killifish and his other real small nano fish. So that's stuff I've got to try. And I picked up pygmy cories. I haven't had cory catfish in I don't know how long. But the pygmies just spoke to me. I mean, they were itty bitty things, and I bought a couple bags of those. And I haven't checked on them today because I just got home from work. But up through yesterday, they were doing good. I lost a few because there were a few that had died in the bag before I bought them. I got them at the swap, and there was a couple that hadn't made it already, and so I got a deal on them. And but all the others up through yesterday were good. They didn't have any issue with the water changing and bagging and all that stuff. I'm just picturing in my mind, I got to take my water with me next time. So that's going to be this will be fun. Picture myself carrying in jugs of water. The hotel was nice. There was some complications that, like they said that, say the hospitality room, for example, they said it was going to stay open until they were good with it, staying up until midnight, and then about 11 they come in with security guards to run us out. And then they're supposed to have had a fundraiser of a beer and wine tasting, and apparently they decided that the hotel was the only one allowed to serve alcohol, so they shut that down. Interesting stuff. And then I overheard that they had made part of their deal that if they sold over a certain number of rooms, that there was going to be an even more discounted rate. And I don't know, let's say 100 rooms. If they sold over 100 rooms, that it would hit the next tier and be a more discounted rate. And they cut the room sales off at 100, so you can get over 100 rooms. They said they were full at that point. So it was I didn't notice any of that stuff other than like the hospitality room, us getting kicked out of the hospitality room, and the loved watching our pygmy cory swimming together. Yeah, they, at least what it looks like to me, they're all schooling together. So it's pretty. I think I got about 10 or 11 of them. But as just somebody attending the convention, I didn't really notice the troubles they were having. I noticed the map that they gave us of what room stuff was going to be in. They weren't in those rooms, but I just thought somebody planned badly. But apparently what happened is in the contract, they had told the ALA AKA that they were going to have these 4 rooms and the hallway outside and this room over here. And then when they showed up, they had booked other conventions in those rooms. So they had to re-coordinate and have these 2 things in this room and these things in this room and just cram them all together. And that's, I've seen, running stuff myself. Stuff doesn't always go how you plan, and you have to figure it out on the fly. And that's what I think, the people running the thing, the ALA, AKA people, and the two host clubs, they did a really great job um, getting everything lined out and making it a smooth convention for everybody that attended. And I learned a lot and had a lot of interesting conversations. One of the conversations included someone talking about a study and a paper that was put out about cycling your aquarium with Coca-Cola. And I tried Googling it while I was talking to them. I'm like, no way. There were a couple of forums that I found where people were saying that they were told that as well, but I couldn't find like any actual like documents, papers, or anything. So I don't know how that would work. Like, I would think it'd be easier to just cycle with fish food or ammonia or anything else besides Coca-Cola. But maybe it'd be something that'd be like, oh, cool, I'm dosing Coke into my aquarium. I've heard of dosing vodka in saltwater tanks, but dosing Coca-Cola is a new one on me. There was someone having a conversation about how wonderful the Lacey Act is and how the fish hobby industry needs severely regulated. And I didn't stay around for that discussion too much. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but I didn't share their opinion that the government is wonderful and will do everything for us perfectly, and that the government is very reasonable and is all that stuff. Each to their own, I guess, but I've seen how stuff gets messed up. On the pygmy cories, I'm debating on which tank to put them in. I'm doing that with a lot of my fish. And I don't know if you all are like me that you move stuff around, but I'm going to figure out where I want to put the stuff. Right now, some of the stuff I've taken and put in multiple tanks just to protect them. So if these fish crash, I have some over there. Mitch made it home. Sounds good to me. I'm glad you made it home safe. But I think I'm going to try for the cories. I think I'm going to try a heavy leaf litter bed. Because I heard somebody talking. I remember it may have been Eric Bodrock talking about cories breeding in the leaf litter and stuff. So I'm thinking about trying that, and then who knows? I may pick up more cories. I've never really been into cories. They've just not really done it for me. And of course, I wasn't into plecos either, but you get the right one and you get hooked on it, and then you want more. And so the pygmy cories may do that for me. For the cories, get me hooked on them, and then I start wanting more of them. I saw some stick, I guess they're called stickfish, twig catfish things. I almost bought those. And then I realized I didn't have anywhere in the room to keep them, which hadn't stopped me for the rest of the weekend, but it did on those. I really tried not to overdo it, but I spent as much or maybe a little more than I did last year at the Triple Crown. So, and that's not counting gas and hotel rooms and all that, because gas cost me more this year than last year because gas is more expensive and I drove farther. But I did enjoy the trip. I do enjoy driving to trips like that. Not necessarily enjoy driving back and forth to work because I do that a lot every day. But driving to Michigan was enjoyable. And I don't know why I always thought Michigan was like so far away. And I pictured it as like a Arctic tundra. But it was really pretty. It's not that far away from me. And I was talking to Mike from Fish Tank Barn about uh, next year being in Tampa, and he was uh, reflecting on his trip to the last ALA convention that was in Florida. And I hadn't thought about it, but Michigan and Florida are pretty far away. And so if he makes it down next year, and we can grab some of the Tennessee guys to come down too, um, I think we'll have a even more exciting time. I think Christmas moss would give eggs a chance if you're not pulling them with leaf litter. That's a good idea, and that's something that I was being told about the killifish, that this specific type of killifish that I have, that you don't have to take the eggs out and let them dry out and all that. That they are, I forget what the word is, but some term that means they just keep breeding all the time, and that the eggs will hatch out in the tank, that they don't have to get dry, and that if I have enough plant matter or mops or whatever, that they'll hatch out and the parents won't eat them. But apparently, if you get too many fry, the fry eat each other. So I'll be watching that. It will be very fun, Mitch. Um, so about this time next year, somewhere middle of May, go ahead and mark it off on your calendar. Road trip to Tampa. And we'll be visiting. There's fish farms down there. We native collecting, and I'm sure a lot of the fish tubers that are in Florida, we can talk them into at least swinging by. And I think Tampa's pretty close to a beach. We might even go like get some time on the beach and see what saltwater fish might be near the beach. Um, but we need to grab all you Tennessee guys, get Tanner and Mitch and James and Ed and all of them, and just take a road trip to Florida. Go down an extra day just so that we can get in trouble. See what kind of native fish we can find or whatever. I'm sure there's some good fish shops around there we can check out. And I think weather in Florida in May is pretty good. All right. Yeah, mostly everything I picked up was live bears. I got the pair of killifish, the cories, and some what are those things called? At Rasboras. Uh, Harlequin. Harlequin Rasboras. I got some Harlequin Rasboras. Um, and I got those on the shop hop from the one of the pet stores. And I'm of the feeling, you know, all these pet stores were opening early to let us in. Some of them were opening like 2 hours early to let the people from the fish convention in, and so they're having to pay their employees. And if I'm going to go into the pet store, I'm going to get something. And instead of getting like fish food or something like that, I was like, oh, let's get some Rasboras. They're a good price. They're giving discounts on them, and I haven't had those in forever. So I've got those to be a schooling tank, going a schooling tank, or a community tank, a school in a community tank. My brain is not working. And I moved all the fish tanks out of the house into the fish shack. Well, I'm kind of thinking about That wall over there, I could fit a 6-foot tank on there, and it would look nice with some schooling fish. Because you don't realize how much you miss the fish tanks in the house until they're gone. I can't sit here in the chair and just stare at my fish. So that may be there may be a tank or two on its way back in here. But painting the living room is on the list first. I don't have to move a 125-gallon tank to paint. So Mitch, we said whenever we started the ETAA, one goal was to get you to get multiple tanks. About a year later, we've bugged you enough that you have multiple tanks. So the new goal is to get you to go to the ALA convention. So we'll keep bugging you. We'll have a good time with it. Next year, and I don't know how much of this it's not all in stone for the next few years, but they mentioned some of the stuff they have in mind. So next year in Tampa sounds fun. The year after that sounds really, really fun. And 2026, from the sound of it, I'm going ahead and start putting in vacation days now for 2026. That's going to be something really good. Everyone's been so generous. I've had fun places to put stuff. That's the hobby. That's the clubs, and that's with my. I saw Aquaticon might happen in the fall, more likely spring, in my opinion. I'm hoping, and they can do whatever they want to do, but I'm hoping for them and me, and for me being selfish or whatever, I'm hoping it is in the spring and not the fall, because a lot of people have already booked up for this year and spent their PTO days or vacation days, spent their funds for where they're going to go. So I think scheduling an event that, Aquaticon could be massive. It could be something really big. But I think booking it for this year, this late in, would not allow it to be to its full potential. That if they went ahead and announced now that in April of next year they're going to have it, people's going to go ahead and sign up now. I mean, they're going to go ahead and mark off in their calendar that they're going to that. And if they do something like that, it's definitely going to my calendar that if I can get off those days and make it work out, I'll be there, because I had a good time last year. That was last year, right? The years and the days just kind of start blending together, but it was fun whenever it was. And but yeah, about everybody being so generous and stuff. That's where, like, my video series that I've got going, the $50 aquarium challenge, I'd been thinking about that for a while, and I was going to do a $20 challenge, or even a $5 challenge, because you do get people like offering to give you tanks or give you fish or whatever all the time, once people figure out that you're into aquariums. But I thought, let's go $50 and go from there. And when you go to a club and they have door prizes or giveaways or people's trading stuff, it helps with that. Yeah, I think Aquaticon, I think it's going to be, whenever they do it again, I think it will be really good. I think they did really good last year, and I think that the suggestions that they got last year to improve it, that, knowing that group of people that's putting it on, I think they will take those and they will go the next step and make it even better. And I'm glad to see, excuse me, I'm glad to see conventions and shows and stuff taking off, and more people getting into it, and clubs growing, and it just growing the hobby. And I've run my hour, and just now got my throat starting to get scratchy. So it sounds like a good time to end it. And I'm not sure who's going next. I know there was a couple people on the schedule. I think I saw that Aquarium Co-op wasn't going live. Papa Shrimp maybe. I'm not sure. I've been a big part of that, of growing the hobby and the clubs and stuff. I try to do my little part. I can't necessarily go like to Mexico and save the fish there, but I can do my little piece here. But I try, and you all do great, and I'm glad. I'm happy for your all support. Thanks everybody for coming out. And whoever stream is next, if it's Papa Shrimp or if it's at Dan's Fish at 9, I'll see you all in the chats later.